Hey guys, it's me, Ruowen Huang. Today, I have a very slow morning today, so I think my brain is somehow not put together. But anyway, I'm gonna answer a very easy question. I got people ask me what's the difference between gut feeling and instinct. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. So since I got a lot of people ask me what's different between gut feeling and instinct, sorry about that. So I thought I would just clarify on this episode. Okay, totally sorry about that. Anyway. So hopefully we don't have any more interruption. So what was I saying? Yeah. So to answer the question, I tell you it's a really confusing morning here. To answer the question, what's the difference between gut feeling and instinct? I thought I make an episode and introduce it to you. Gut feeling is gut, the feeling that comes from gut, right? And instinct very often surrounding here. So where when you listen to some story, it seems to have some kind of spark from your head or some idea very, very quickly spark out. So if you really pay attention, they actually come from different places. And I'm going to explain why it comes from different places. Gut feeling, from my analysis, from my, personal perspective. Again, I'm going to keep saying this over and over. I can only speak for myself. I don't speak for everybody else. Gut feeling tying very closely to your survival skill. Survival skill, like usually when you are putting yourself in a risk situation, or when you put yourself in a situation that usually has something to do with you taking a risk or life survival. You know what I mean? So what happened is you have to understand, I keep talking about individuality. That means we all gear or build very differently. So everybody most likely will have a very different gut feeling. So a lot of time when you use your gut feeling and ask other people, you may not feel, they may not, have exactly the same gut feeling as you. You know what I mean? So a lot of time I often hear story about, I had this gut feeling that as my friend, but they don't feel that. Very simple. It's because everybody is built very differently. So very likely everybody will have different gut feeling. But what gut feeling really do is it tie in very closely to your survival instinct. That is, you as a human body, a soul, disregard your soul, but as a human, right? When you are put in certain scenarios, certain circumstances, or certain, environment, or something is about to happen, and then you have that gut feeling you should not go. It takes practice, but I would say the chance is, I would suggest listen to your gut feeling at that moment, because it ties into your survival instinct. That is, however this body is built. It's like when the mouse get close to he's going somewhere, and then that place happen to have a cat waiting around to eat him. He probably will have a gut feeling, don't go. You know what I mean? Because that's geared into a mouse survival skill. So if he happened to get that, survival instinct or that feeling, and go ask a dog saying, hey, I had this feeling I should not go there, right? I have this feeling that I should not go there. Should I go? You go as a dog, right? The dog most likely will say, no, I don't feel it, right? So anyway, let's just give you an idea. If you want to know what gut feeling is, it usually comes from your gut. The feeling comes from down here, not up here. It comes from here, right? And then it usually tie in very closely to your survival instinct, or whatever you call it. And then or the situation that put you to taking a risk. When you are in the situation that you have to take a risk, and that risk, in your knowledge or in your perception, may or may not jeopardize your life, right? Then that will usually come from your gut feeling. Now we come back to the instinct. Instinct tie in very closely also your survival skill, but not so much as a body, very likely from a soul, you know what I mean, from a soul base. So that not so much about survival, it just a sense, it fall into this, what the soul know. Does that make sense to you? So what this soul know based on the knowledge of I'm given this body and I'm living in this kind of thing. So very often people tie their instinct together with their logic. And I also see a lot of time nowadays, I would just say nowadays, you know, maybe the new generation will evolve, which I don't know. But nowadays, I notice a lot of time people's instinct is very often get convinced or covered or replaced by their logic, right? Without people knowing it. So they will have an instinct of good or bad. If they will see someone, they will have an instinct like this good person, this is a bad person. Then again, bring back to the beginning. Everybody's very different. So we all gear differently, right? When some people may have a bad instinct about someone, the other person may not feel the same because we are geared very differently. So when we see someone that may it may or may not fall into your survival need, but what it does is what the soul know. I might come into the slide and I have the knowledge of roughly what I have to go through, roughly what I will, you know, have to deal with, or what kind of body I own, or what kind of scenario. So it ties everything very closely. So that's the moment you will have the instinct. So if you guys ever pay attention and really want to know the difference of those two very simple things, you can always feel it come from different places, right? If it come from your gut feeling, really guys, listen to it because somehow, some way it ties into your survival instinct that you just have to, that means it is trying to protect this body. When it comes from your instinct, which is coming from here, you will feel it spark from here. The chances it usually fall into a blueprint of the soul. So if I can separate them very clearly for you, gut feeling tying very closely of this body. Body, disregard soul. Body, try to protect this body. Instinct come from your brain. Like your brain, maybe before you become a human, you got, send a reminder. If you see this, that's a bad sign. So the chances if you happen to see certain sign, you were like, oh, bad sign. I have a bad instinct, right? I have a feeling that that's bad about it. So I hope that doesn't confuse you guys more. As I say, my morning is kind of funky. Keep getting, cold and getting interrupted. But again, I hope that kind of clear it for you guys. If you want to know gut feeling and instinct different, first it come from different places. Second, it tie very closely to different things. One is physical, one is more mental. So if there will be chances your gut feeling and your instinct actually tell you the same thing. If that situation happen, I usually suggest please do listen because that is most likely, telling you the same thing, or try to stop you from doing something, or try to stop you from going somewhere. But as I say, it takes practice. It does take practice. It takes practice for people to identify what's instinct before the logic take over. Instinct usually lasts about 3 seconds, 5 seconds long. Unfortunately, a lot of people, 3 seconds, 5 seconds instinct is easy for us to, overlook it or ignore it, because very often, as I say, nowadays people tend to use their logic. If logic makes sense, they would choose to ignore their instinct. So if you learn, when the initial feeling come out, if you learn to grab it, right, and then you practice doing that, eventually you will be very good at this. You don't need an instinct to last too long for you to really understand how you work, right? Or a lot of time, which I would tell people, if that instinct come out and then you are not sure about it, you can always put it aside, not to ignore it, but put it aside, but then do whatever you decide to do with cautions, right? And then observe it. Then eventually you will get your answer or validation of why you have such a feeling, right? Because as I say, everybody's different. Everybody might have different instinct or different sensation. So anyway, hope that answered people's question. Again, if you like what I'm doing, you can always join me live on Facebook, or go to subscribe my YouTube channel, or go to my website ruowen.com. Till then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.